I have not known this man of whom you speak. And having thought thereon, he was weeping.
Today's reading from the Old Testament, Numbers chapter 11, verse 1 through chapter 12, verse 16. And the people are evil, as those sighing habitually in the ears of Yahweh. And Yahweh hears, and his anger burns, and the fire of Yahweh burns among them, and consumes in the extremity of the camp. And the people cry to Moses, and Moses prays to Yahweh, and the fire is quenched. And he calls the name of that place Taberah, for the fire of Yahweh has burned among them. And the rabble who are in its midst have lusted greatly, and the sons of Israel also turn back and weep, and say, Who gives us flesh? We have remembered the fish which we ate in Egypt for nothing, the cucumbers, and the melons, and the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. And now our soul is dry, there is not anything except the manna before our eyes. And the manna is as coriander seed, and its aspect as the aspect of bedlam. The people have turned aside and gathered it, and ground it with millstones, or beat it in a mortar, and boiled it in a pan, and made it cakes, and its taste has been as the taste of the moisture of oil. And in the descending of the dew on the camp by night, the manna descends on it. And Moses hears the people weeping by its families, each at the opening of his tent, and the anger of Yahweh burns exceedingly, and in the eyes of Moses it is evil. And Moses says to Yahweh, Why have you done evil to your servant? And why have I not found grace in your eyes to put the burden of all this people on me? I conceived all this people, I begotten it, that you say to me, Carry it in your bosom, as the one supporting carries the nursing suckling to the ground, which you have sworn to its fathers? From where do I have flesh to give to all this people? For they weep to me, saying, Give flesh to us, and we eat. I am not able, I alone, to bear all this people, for it is too heavy for me. And if thus you are doing to me, please slay me. Slay, if I have found grace in your eyes, and do not let me look on my affliction. And Yahweh says to Moses, Gather to me 70 men from the elderly of Israel, whom you have known that they are the elderly of the people, and its authorities, and you have taken them to the tent of meeting, and they have stationed themselves there with you. And I have come down and spoken with you there, and have kept back of the Spirit which is on you, and have put that one on them, and they have borne some of the burden of the people with you, and you do not bear it alone. And you say to the people, Sanctify yourselves for tomorrow, and you have eaten flesh, for you have wept in the ears of Yahweh, saying, Who gives us flesh? For we had good in Egypt, and Yahweh has given flesh to you, and you have eaten. You do not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days, but even to a month of days, until it comes out from your nostrils, and it has become an abomination to you, because that you have loathed Yahweh, who is in your midst, and weep before him, saying, Why is it that we have come out of Egypt? And Moses says, 600,000 footmen are the people in whose midst I dwell, and you have said, I give flesh to them, and they have eaten for a month of days. Is flock and herd slaughtered for them, that one has found enough for them? Are all the fishes of the sea gathered for them, that one has found enough for them? And Yahweh says to Moses, Has the hand of Yahweh become short? Now you see whether my word meets you or not. And Moses goes out and speaks the words of Yahweh to the people, and gathers 70 men from the elderly of the people, and causes them to stand around the tent. And Yahweh comes down in the cloud, and speaks to him, and keeps back of the Spirit which is on him, and puts that one on the 70 elderly men. And it comes to pass at the resting of the Spirit on them, that they prophesy, and they have never done so again. And 2 of the men are left in the camp. The name of the first is Eldad, and the name of the second Medad. And the Spirit rests on them, and they are among those written, but they have not gone out to the tent, and they prophesy in the camp. And the young man runs and declares it to Moses, and says, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. And Joshua, son of Nun, minister of Moses, one of his young men, answers and says, My lord Moses, restrain them. And Moses says to him, Are you zealous for me, O that all Yahweh's people were prophets, that Yahweh would put his spirit on them. And Moses is gathered to the camp, he and the elderly of Israel. And a spirit has journeyed from Yahweh, and cuts off quails from the sea, and leaves them by the camp, as a day's journey here, and as a day's journey there, around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the face of the land. And the people rise all that day, and all the night, and all the day after, and gather the quails. He who has least has gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves around the camp. The flesh is yet between their teeth, it is not yet cut off, and the anger of Yahweh has burned among the people. And Yahweh strikes with a very great striking among the people. And one calls the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah, for there they have buried the people who lust. From Kibroth Hattaavah the people have journeyed to Hazeroth, and they are in Hazeroth. And Miriam speaks, Aaron also, against Moses concerning the circumstances of the Cushite woman whom he had taken, for he had taken a Cushite woman. And they say, Has Yahweh only spoken by Moses? Has he not also spoken by us? And Yahweh hears. And the man Moses is very humble, more than any of the men who are on the face of the ground. And Yahweh suddenly says to Moses and to Aaron and to Miriam, Come out, you 3, to the tent of meeting. And those 3 come out. And Yahweh comes down in the pillar of the cloud, and stands at the opening of the tent, and calls Aaron and Miriam, and both of them come out. And he says, Now hear my words. If your prophet is of Yahweh, I make myself known to him in a vision. I speak with him in a dream. Not so my servant Moses. He is steadfast in all my house. I speak with him mouth to mouth, even by an appearance, and not in riddles. And he beholds the form of Yahweh attentively. Now why have you not been afraid to speak against my servant, against Moses? And the anger of Yahweh burns against them. And he goes on. And the cloud has turned aside from off the tent, and behold, Miriam is leprous as snow. And Aaron turns to Miriam, and behold, leprous. And Aaron says to Moses, O my Lord, please do not lay this sin on us, in which we have been foolish, and in which we have sinned. Please do not let her be as one dead, when in his coming out from the womb of his mother, the half of his flesh is consumed. And Moses cries to Yahweh, saying, O God, please give healing to her, please. And Yahweh says to Moses, But if her father had but spat in her face, is she not ashamed for 7 days? She is shut out for 7 days at the outside of the camp, and afterward she is gathered. And Miriam is shut out at the outside of the camp for 7 days, and the people have not journeyed until Miriam is gathered. And afterward the people have journeyed from Hazeroth, and they encamp in the wilderness of Paran. Today's reading from the New Testament, Mark chapter 14, verse 66 through chapter 15, verse 15. And Peter, being in the hall beneath, there comes one of the maids of the chief priest. And having seen Peter warming himself, having looked on him, she said, And you were with Jesus of Nazareth. And he denied, saying, I have not known him, neither do I understand what you say. And he went forth outside to the porch, and a rooster crowed. And the maid, having seen him again, began to say those standing near, This is of them. And he was again denying. And after a while again, those standing near said to Peter, Truly you are of them, for you are also a Galilean, and your speech is alike. And he began to curse and to swear, I have not known this man of whom you speak. And a second time a rooster crowed. And Peter remembered the saying that Jesus said to him, Before a rooster crows twice, you may deny me 3 times. And having thought thereon, he was weeping. And immediately in the morning the chief priest, having made a consultation with the elders and scribes, and the whole Sanhedrin, having bound Jesus, led him away, and delivered him to Pilate. And Pilate questioned him, Are you the king of the Jews? And he said to him, You say it. And the chief priests were accusing him of many things, but he answered nothing. And Pilate again questioned him, saying, You do not answer anything. Behold, how many things they testify against you. And Jesus no longer answered anything, so that Pilate wondered. And at every celebration he was releasing to them one prisoner, whomsoever they were asking for. And there was one named Barabbas, bound with those making insurrection with him, who had committed murder in the insurrection. And the multitude, having cried out, began to ask for themselves, as he was always doing to them. And Pilate answered them, saying, Will you that I will release you to you the King of the Jews? For he knew that the chief priests had delivered him up because of envy. And the chief priests moved the multitude that he might rather release Barabbas to them. And Pilate answering again said to them, What then? Will you that I will do to him whom you call King of the Jews? And they again cried out, Crucify him. And Pilate said to them, Why? What evil did he do? And they cried out the more vehemently, Crucify him. And Pilate, resolving to do that which was satisfactory to the multitude, released Barabbas to them, and delivered up Jesus, having scourged him, that he might be crucified. Today's reading from the Psalms, chapter 37, verse 1 through 7, by David. Do not fret because of evildoers. Do not be envious against doers of iniquity. For they are cut off speedily as grass, and fade as the greenness of the tender grass. Trust in Yahweh and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy faithfulness. And delight yourself on Yahweh, and he gives to you the petitions of your heart. Roll your way on Yahweh and trust on him, and he works, and has brought out your righteousness as light and your judgment as noonday. Be silent for Yahweh and stay yourself for him. Do not fret because of him, who is making his way prosperous because of a man doing wicked schemes. Today's reading from the Proverbs, chapter 7, verse 13 and 14. And she laid hold on him and kissed him. She has hardened her face and says to him, Sacrifices of peace offerings are by me. Today I have completed my vows.
Has Yahweh only spoken by Moses?
Has he not also spoken by us? And she laid hold on him and kissed him. She has hardened her face and says to him,
Sacrifices of peace offerings are by me. Today I have completed my vows.